Commander Alex Harlow stared at the display screen, his eyes narrowing as the blinking dot moved steadily closer to Earth's solar system. The command center of Earth Defense Station Alpha hummed with tension. Nobody had expected an alien vessel to approach so boldly. "Analysis confirmed, sir," said Officer Samantha Reed. "Unknown craft, definitely not human design. Size suggests a capital ship." Alex nodded, running a hand through his short brown hair. "How long until it reaches the outer warning boundary?" 17 minutes, Commander. Earth had only established its deep space monitoring network 5 years ago, after scientists had detected faint signals suggesting intelligent life. The nations of Earth had united in an unprecedented effort to build a modest defense capability, but nobody truly expected to need it so soon. "Open communication channels on all frequencies," Alex ordered. "Standard first contact protocols." The communications officer nodded and sent the carefully crafted greeting message that linguists and diplomats had prepared for this very moment. The alien vessel continued its approach without response. "Sir, they're ignoring our hails," said Samantha after several tense minutes. "And sensors show their weapon systems are active." Alex's jaw tightened. Earth's leaders had been clear about the protocol for this scenario. Humanity would not appear weak before the stars. "Bring defense platform Bravo to full power. Target a position 5 kilometers ahead of their current trajectory. Authorization code Harlow Delta 7. The weapons officer hesitated for just a moment before entering the commands. Earth had never fired its orbital defense cannons outside of testing. Targeting complete. Awaiting final authorization. Alex took a deep breath. Fire. The massive energy beam lanced out from Earth's orbit, perfectly striking empty space ahead of the alien vessel. A warning shot across the bow. A universal language. The effect was immediate. The alien ship decelerated rapidly, its energy signature fluctuating wildly. On board the Xarthan Imperial cruiser Dominion, Admiral Zorth hissed in surprise as alarms blared across the command deck. The primitive backwater world ahead had fired on an Imperial vessel. Such audacity was unprecedented. "Impossible," Zorth growled, his scaled skin darkening with anger. "These humans should barely have achieved spaceflight. How do they possess energy weapons of this capability?" His second-in-command approached cautiously. "Admiral, they're transmitting again. The translation matrix is processing their language." The main screen flickered to life, showing a serious-faced human in a blue uniform. Admiral Zorth narrowed his 4 eyes as the translation came through. "This is Commander Alex Harlow of Earth Defense Force. You have entered restricted space without authorization or response to peaceful hails. Earth hereby declares that no vessels of the Galactic Empire are permitted within the Sol system without prior approval. Reverse course immediately, or we will consider this an act of aggression." Zorth slammed his clawed hand against his command chair. "They dare to make demands of the Empire. We have subjugated 100 worlds." "Admiral," his tactical officer interrupted. "Additional weapon platforms are activating in the planet's orbit. Our sensors indicate they possess sufficient firepower to damage our shields." Zorth hissed again, this time in calculation rather than rage. The humans should not have such technology. This required investigation before action. "Send this message. The Xarthan Empire acknowledges your communication. We withdraw temporarily, but the Empire does not recognize your claim to this system. We will return." Back on Earth, Alex watched as the alien vessel slowly turned and began moving away from the solar system. "They're leaving," Samantha said, her voice revealing relief. "For now," Alex replied. "But they'll be back, and next time they won't come alone." He turned to address the command center staff. "Today, Earth made its first declaration to the stars. Now we need to make sure we can back it up when they return." The room fell silent as the reality sank in. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and their first encounter had been a confrontation. The stars, it seemed, were not as welcoming as they had hoped. Lieutenant Kate Wilson hunched over her desk, surrounded by holographic displays of the Xarthan vessel that had approached Earth 3 months ago. Her job was to understand the enemy, and what she had learned so far was troubling. Their hull composition suggests materials we've never encountered, she explained to Commander Harlow as he entered her office, and the energy readings indicate propulsion technology centuries beyond our own. Alex nodded grimly. The President wants answers, Kate. The entire world is panicking over what happens when they return. When, not if, Kate agreed, pushing a strand of blonde hair from her face. Based on our analysis, the Xarthans control at least 30 star systems. They're an empire in the truest sense. They conquer and subjugate. The encounter with the alien ship had changed everything on Earth. Nations that had fought for centuries were now working together, pooling resources and knowledge. The United Earth Defense Initiative had been formed, with military forces and scientists from every country. We're accelerating weapons development, Alex said. The energy cannon that fired the warning shot was a prototype. We have 5 more now, and they're twice as powerful. Kate pulled up a new display. That's good, but look at this. The Xarthan ship could have easily absorbed that hit. They retreated because they were surprised, not scared. At the same moment, 16 billion kilometers from Earth, Commander Greg Martinez peered through the viewscreen of his stealth patrol ship. Something had triggered the long-range sensors near Pluto's orbit. Slow approach, minimal energy signature, his navigator reported. They're trying not to be noticed. Greg's expression hardened. Xarthan scout ship. Has to be. They're assessing our defenses before the main fleet arrives. He turned to his tactical officer. Plot an intercept course. Maintain stealth protocols. If we can capture that ship intact, it would give us information we desperately need. The patrol ship silently changed course, using Pluto's gravity to mask its approach. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Galactic Council was in session. Representatives from 200 spacefaring civilizations debated the situation on a massive space station. The humans are primitive upstarts, declared the Xarthan representative. They fired upon an Imperial vessel conducting peaceful exploration. Ambassador Taylor, a blue-skinned diplomat from the Altarian Republic, rose to speak. Yet your ships entered their system unannounced, with weapons active. By galactic law, they had every right to defend their sovereignty. The council chamber erupted in arguments. Many older civilizations viewed humanity as barely evolved primates who had stumbled upon advanced technology. Others saw a chance to challenge Xarthan expansion. Back on Earth, in underground facilities around the planet, scientists and engineers worked frantically. Dr. Frank Nelson led the reverse engineering team studying fragments of alien technology recovered from previous unconfirmed crashes. We've made a breakthrough, he told the gathered military leaders. The propulsion system uses a form of quantum displacement. With modifications, we could apply this to our defensive shields. General Maria Sanchez leaned forward. How quickly can you develop a prototype? 3 months, maybe 4, Frank replied. But it would only be able to protect key military installations, not the entire planet. It's a start, Maria said firmly. In deep space, Greg Martinez's ship silently approached the Xarthan scout vessel. His team prepared for the most daring mission in human history, the capture of alien technology. All personnel, prepare for boarding action, Greg announced over the intercom. Remember your training. We need that ship and its database intact. As his team donned their spacesuits, Greg knew the fate of Earth might depend on their success. The Xarthans were coming, and humanity needed every advantage it could get. The scout ship drifted silently, unaware that it was about to become the first prize in a war that had barely begun. Ambassador Lisa Franklin stood at the viewport of Earth's first diplomatic vessel, watching as the massive Galactic Council station grew larger. The gleaming structure looked like a silver flower blooming in space, with dozens of docking arms extending from its center. "We're being hailed," said Captain Eric Jones, who commanded the ship. They're assigning us a docking port. Lisa straightened her formal blue uniform. As Earth's chosen representative, she carried the hopes of her entire planet. The successful capture of the Xarthan scout ship had provided Earth with both technology and information, including the location of the Galactic Council. Remember, she told her team of 8 diplomats, we're here to establish Earth as a sovereign power, not to beg for protection. As they docked and stepped through the airlock, Lisa was struck by the diversity of alien life forms. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors moved through the grand arrival hall. Some floated in bubbles of liquid, others walked on tentacles or glided on fields of energy. A tall, willowy alien with silver skin approached them. I am Counselor Nelb of the Diplomatic Corps. Earth has not been formally recognized by the Council. Your presence is unusual. So was the uninvited Xarthan ship in our system. Lisa replied calmly. We're here to ensure such intrusions don't happen again. Nelb led them to a small chamber where representatives from minor powers were allowed to speak. As Lisa presented Earth's case, she noticed some delegates seemed impressed by humanity's boldness, while others clearly viewed them as primitives overstepping their bounds. The fact remains, said the Xarthan representative, a reptilian being named Vort, that Earth sits on valuable hyperspace coordinates. The Empire has historical claims to all major junction points. Lisa hadn't expected this revelation. Their captured scout ship hadn't contained information about why Earth was important. Historical claims mean nothing, she countered. Earth and the Sol system belong to humanity. We declare our sovereignty and will defend it. During the following days, Lisa worked tirelessly, meeting with representatives from dozens of civilizations. Many smaller powers were sympathetic to Earth's position. They too had faced Xarthan pressure. The Empire has been expanding for centuries, explained Ambassador Kren of the Tellarite Confederation. They offer protection treaties that effectively make worlds their colonies. Lisa formed alliances where she could, trading Earth's limited knowledge and resources for support. The Xarthans watched these developments with growing concern. On the 5th day, Vort approached her with a formal document. The Empire offers Earth a protection treaty, he said smoothly. Your world would benefit from our advanced technology and defense. Lisa scanned the treaty and almost laughed. Earth would be required to host Imperial bases, follow Imperial law, and provide resources on demand. Earth rejects this proposal, she said firmly. We will defend ourselves. Vort's eyes narrowed. Primitive worlds that resist the Empire often regret their choice. That evening, Lisa met secretly with representatives from 7 civilizations that had suffered under Xarthan rule. They shared stories of worlds stripped of resources and populations used as labor. We cannot fight them directly, said Ambassador Trell of Boros, but we can provide you with information and covert assistance. Lisa returned to her quarters and sent an encrypted message to Earth. The Xarthans want our hyperspace coordinates. We've made allies, but also powerful enemies. Prepare for the worst. On Earth, the captured scout ship's technology had already been adapted to strengthen planetary defenses. Commander Harlow reviewed the new shield grid that now protected major cities. Will it be enough? Asked General Sanchez. Against their full fleet? No, Alex admitted. But it will make them pay dearly if they try to take Earth by force. As Lisa's ship prepared to return home, she gazed once more at the Council station. Earth had declared its independence to the galaxy. Now they had to prove they could back up their bold words with action. Captain John Daniels watched the approaching ships on his command screen. The Xarthan vessels moved with precision, their sleek forms gliding through space toward Earth's orbit. There were 12 of them, each larger than anything humans had built. They're claiming to be a scientific expedition, said his communications officer, Lieutenant Paul Adams. They say they're here to study Earth's unique biosphere. John snorted. With warships? I don't think so. He stood on the bridge of Aegis, Earth's newest orbital defense platform. The massive station housed energy weapons and the experimental shield technology developed from the captured scout ship. All stations report ready, Captain, said his second-in-command, Susan Miller. "Defense grid is online." The Carthan fleet continued its approach, ignoring warnings to maintain distance. Earth's declaration was clear: no Empire ships without permission. This was a test of humanity's resolve. "They're scanning our defenses," Susan reported, "trying to assess our capabilities." John tapped his console. "Let's show them something unexpected. Activate the shield grid." Across Earth, massive generators powered up. A shimmering energy field began to form, not around the planet itself, but at strategic points in orbit. The Xarthans had never seen this configuration before. On the lead Xarthan ship, Commander Krell watched in surprise. "These humans continue to defy expectations," he told his bridge crew. "They've adapted our shield technology in a novel way." His science officer looked concerned. "Sir, this doesn't match any known human capability in our records. They must have obtained Imperial technology." Krell's eyes narrowed. The missing scout ship. They captured it intact. He made a quick decision. Launch fighters. Test their defenses, but avoid major casualties. This is a reconnaissance mission, not a war. Back on Aegis, John watched a smaller craft deployed from the Tarthan ships. Here they come. Weapons free, defensive protocols only. Target their engines and weapon systems, not life support. Earth's defense platforms opened fire. Precisely aimed energy beams struck the approaching fighters. Some evaded, showing impressive maneuverability, but 3 were disabled immediately. "They're pulling back," Susan said. "Regrouping." John nodded. They didn't expect us to have targeting systems this advanced. The Xarthan fighters launched a second wave, this time firing at Earth's defensive positions. The new shields held under the assault, absorbing energy in a way that surprised the attackers. In his lab below the surface of Earth, Dr. Frank Nelson monitored the shield performance. "The adaptation is working," he told General Sanchez. "Their weapons are actually charging our defensive grid instead of depleting it." The skirmish continued for 20 minutes. Earth's defenses performed better than expected, but the Xarthans were gathering valuable intelligence with each exchange. Suddenly, 3 Xarthan ships broke formation, accelerating toward one of the smaller defense platforms near the moon. "They're making a run for Station Gamma," John realized. "All available units, intercept." Earth's fighters scrambled, but they were too few and too slow. The Xarthan vessels surrounded the station, and in a flash of light, transported something aboard. "They've taken prisoners," Susan gasped. "At least 15 personnel." Among those captured was engineer Maya Peterson, who had been upgrading the station's systems. As the Carthan ship pulled away with its human captives, Maya remained calm despite her fear. As the lead engineer on the shield adaptation project, she knew secrets the Carthans would be desperate to learn. The Xarthan fleet withdrew after the raid, jumping to hyperspace with their prisoners and data. John stared at the empty screen, his face grim. "They'll be back," he said quietly. "And next time it won't be a test." On Earth, leaders gathered to assess the situation. The good news: Earth's defenses had performed well. The bad news: humans were now prisoners of the Empire. And the Xarthans knew Earth had stolen their technology. The real battle was about to begin. Maya Peterson examined the cell door for the 20th time. The Xarthan prison ship had been traveling for 3 days since her capture from the Lunar Defense Station. She had been separated from the other 14 prisoners and placed in high-security containment. "They know I designed the shield modifications," she whispered to herself. Her dark eyes scanned the alien technology surrounding her. Even as a prisoner, the engineer in her couldn't help studying everything she saw. The door slid open unexpectedly. A Xarthan officer entered, his scaled skin a deep purple that indicated high rank. "Human engineer," he said through a translation device. "I am Science Director Vex. You will share your knowledge of shield technology with the Empire." Maya stood tall despite her fear. "I'm just a maintenance worker," she lied. "I don't know anything valuable." Vex made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Your deception is pointless. We monitored communications before the attack. You are Maya Peterson, lead developer of Earth's adapted shield technology. While Maya faced interrogation back on Earth, Admiral Linda Carter stood before representatives from 7 alien civilizations. The spacious underground conference room in Geneva had been specially built for this historic meeting. The Coalition of Independent Worlds welcomes Earth as its newest member, announced Ambassador Kren of the Tellarites. Together, we stand against imperial expansion. Linda, a veteran naval commander with 30 years of experience, had been chosen to lead Earth's new combined defense force. Earth thanks you for your support, she said. But we need more than words. We need technology and training to withstand a full Exarthan assault. The representatives exchanged glances. A blue-skinned Altarian spoke up. Earth has already demonstrated remarkable adaptability. Your shield configuration surprised the Empire. We bring something equally valuable: intelligence on Imperial fleet movements and tactics. Linda leaned forward. My analysts have developed a new strategy based on Earth's historical naval warfare. The Xarthans expect direct confrontation, but we'll use guerrilla tactics in space. Across the room, screens displayed Linda's revolutionary approach. Unlike the rigid formations used by the Empire, Earth vessels would operate in small, autonomous groups, striking weak points and disappearing. This is unorthodox, said the Tellarite ambassador. The Empire has fought the same way for centuries. Exactly, Linda smiled. They won't expect it. Meanwhile, aboard the Xarthan prison ship, Maya had made a discovery. During interrogation sessions, she had glimpsed their systems and noticed a critical flaw in the Imperial network architecture. Their ships all used the same communication protocols. She whispered to fellow prisoner Ben Harris as they were briefly allowed to exercise together. If we could access a terminal, I could send a signal that would disrupt their entire fleet. Ben, a security officer, nodded subtly. The guard changes in 4 hours. I've been watching their patterns. That night, as the ship's lighting dimmed to simulate night cycle, Maya and Ben executed their plan. Using a makeshift tool fashioned from part of Maya's bunk, Ben disabled the cell door lock. They moved silently through the corridors, evading the reduced night shift of guards. Here, Maya whispered, finding an unattended terminal. Her fingers flew across the alien interface, applying what she had learned through observation. I'm sending a message to Earth with the fleet's position and a backdoor into their systems. Alarms suddenly blared. Time's up, Ben said grimly, positioning himself to defend Maya as she completed the transmission. Back on Earth, the Coalition meeting was interrupted by an urgent message. Admiral, a young officer said, rushing into the room. We've received a transmission from the captured engineer Peterson. She sent Imperial fleet data and something else, a way into their systems. Linda's eyes widened. Get that to our cyber team immediately. As Coalition members watched in amazement, Earth's strategy suddenly gained a powerful new dimension. Not only would they fight unconventionally, but they now had the means to disrupt Imperial communications. The prisoners have given us a chance, Linda told the assembled representatives. Now we prepare for the real fight. The Coalition of Independent Worlds nodded in agreement. Earth was not standing alone anymore. Major Ryan Cooper gripped the controls of his fighter as the alert sirens wailed. The day they had been preparing for had finally arrived. Hundreds of Xarthan warships had appeared at the edge of the solar system. All pilots to stations, came Admiral Carter's voice over the comm system. This is not a drill. Defensive Formation Alpha. Ryan's squadron of 20 fighters launched from Earth's newest carrier, the Defiance. As they cleared the bay, he saw the full scale of what they faced. The Xarthan fleet darkened space like a metal storm cloud, their massive ships moving in perfect formation. Remember your training, Ryan told his pilots. Stay in your wing pairs. Hit and fade, just like we practiced. Earth had prepared for this moment. The planetary defense grid activated, creating a complex web of shield barriers at strategic points. Cities around the world went into lockdown as civilians moved to underground shelters. The first wave of Tarthan ships approached Earth's orbit, their weapons charged, glowing with ominous energy. "All defense platforms, hold fire until my mark," Commander Harlow ordered from Central Command. The strategy was clear. Let the enemy commit before revealing Earth's full capabilities. The Tarthan commander, Grand Admiral Zorth, watched with confidence from his flagship. "The humans are hiding behind their stolen shields," he told his officers. "Break through their defenses and secure the hyperspace junction point." The first Imperial volley struck Earth's outer shield layer. The energy was absorbed and redirected, just as Maya Peterson had designed. The shield grid glowed brightly but held. "Now," ordered Harlow. Earth's defense platforms fired simultaneously, targeting the lead Sarthan vessels with precision. 3 Imperial ships lost power immediately, their systems overloaded by the unexpected counterattack. Ryan led his squadron between 2 massive Tarthan cruisers. "Target their engine ports," he ordered. His fighters released specially designed missiles that attached to the enemy ships' hulls before detonating. Across the solar system, coalition allies emerged from hiding. Ships from 7 alien civilizations that had suffered under Tarthan rule joined the battle, attacking the Imperial fleet from behind. "We're surrounded," shouted a Xarthan officer on the bridge of Admiral Zorth's flagship. Zorth hissed in anger. Impossible. These primitives couldn't coordinate such an attack. But Maya's stolen communication codes had given Earth and its allies the ability to monitor and disrupt Imperial operations. The Xarthan ships found their targeting systems suddenly inaccurate, their communications filled with static. Earth suffered heavy damage despite its preparations. 2 defense platforms were destroyed, and cities in South America and Asia were hit when portions of the shield grid failed under sustained bombardment. Ryan's squadron lost 7 fighters in a brutal engagement with Xarthan interceptors. "Pull back to secondary positions," he ordered his remaining pilots, his voice tight with grief for his lost comrades. Admiral Carter directed the battle from a hardened bunker beneath the Atlantic Ocean. "They're pushing toward the North American shield generator," she reported. "All available units, reinforce that sector." The battle raged for hours. Earth's forces fought with desperation and ingenuity, using tactics the Xarthans had never encountered. Imperial ships found themselves trapped in gravitational nets or disabled by targeted electromagnetic pulses. As the tide slowly turned against his fleet, Admiral Zorth made a fateful decision. "Prepare the planet killer," he ordered. "If we cannot have this world, no one will." His second-in-command looked shocked. "Sir, that weapon is prohibited by Galactic Council law." "I don't care," Zorth snarled. "The Empire will not be defied by primitives." On Earth, sensors detected the massive energy buildup. "They're charging something big," reported a technician to Commander Harlow. "Like nothing we've seen before." The planet killer weapon began to glow at the front of Zorth's flagship, the forbidden technology capable of rendering a world uninhabitable. "All units," Admiral Carter commanded, her voice steady despite the dire situation. "Execute Operation Last Stand." Earth's fate hung in the balance as its defenders prepared for one final desperate gambit. The planet-killer weapon on Admiral Zorth's flagship glowed with deadly energy, aimed directly at Earth. Commander Harlow watched in horror from Central Command as the forbidden device charged to full power. "Operation Last Stand is our only hope," he said quietly. Across Earth's orbit, hundreds of small devices activated simultaneously. These were the fruits of Dr. Frank Nelson's final project, quantum displacement beacons built using technology from the captured scout ship. As the planet killer fired, something unexpected happened. The deadly beam struck what appeared to be Earth, but the image flickered and vanished. The real Earth had been displaced from its apparent position by a fraction of spacetime. "Impossible," screamed Admiral Zorth as his superweapon spent its charge on empty space. Major Ryan Cooper led the counterattack, his remaining fighters targeting the flagship's exposed weapon systems. "All wings, converge on target," he ordered. Coalition ships joined the assault, their combined firepower overwhelming the flagship's shields. At that moment, a massive fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. The Galactic Council's peacekeeping force had arrived, led by the imposing vessels of the Altarian Republic. "This is Council Arbiter Taylor," came the transmission to all ships. "The use of prohibited weapons has been detected. All hostilities will cease immediately." The Xarthan fleet, already battered by Earth's unexpected defense, now faced the Council's overwhelming force. Admiral Zorth knew his career and possibly his life were forfeit. He had violated the Council's highest law by deploying the Planet Killer. 3 months later, Captain Olivia Hunt stood on the bridge of Earth's newest vessel, the Defiant. The ship incorporated technology shared by their coalition allies, making it the most advanced human-built craft in history. "Captain, we're receiving the final approval from Council headquarters," reported her communications officer. "Operation Liberation is officially sanctioned." Olivia nodded, her expression determined. "Set course for the Proxima system. Their people have been under Imperial control for 40 years. It's time they taste freedom." The Defiant led a multinational fleet of Earth and Coalition vessels. Their mission: to liberate worlds that had been subjugated by the Xarthan Empire. The Galactic Council, shocked by the Empire's use of a prohibited weapon, had revoked many of the Empire's territorial claims. Earth's declaration had become galactic law. A new provision in the Council Charter stated that all sovereign worlds had the right to refuse entry to any vessel, including Imperial ships. "We're receiving transmissions from the Resistance on Proxima IV," reported Lieutenant Jake Foster. "They're ready to coordinate with our arrival." Olivia smiled. "Tell them Earth stands with them." The aftermath of the battle for Earth had changed the galaxy forever. The Xarthan Empire, once seemingly invincible, began to fragment as rebellions inspired by Earth's resistance spread throughout their territories. Admiral Zorth had been tried and sentenced by the Galactic Council for his war crimes. On Earth, cities were being rebuilt. The planet had suffered, but humanity had emerged stronger and more united than ever before. The nations that had once fought each other now worked together toward a common future among the stars. Ambassador Lisa Franklin, now elevated to Earth's permanent representative on the Galactic Council, addressed the full assembly. "Earth does not seek an empire of our own," she declared. "We seek a galaxy where all worlds determine their own destiny, where cooperation replaces domination, where diversity is celebrated, not conquered." The council chamber erupted in approval. Many civilizations that had lived under the shadow of imperial rule for centuries saw hope in Earth's example. As Captain Hunt's Liberation fleet jumped to light speed, Commander Harlow watched from Earth's new space dock. The engineer Maya Peterson stood beside him, having escaped during the final battle. "Did you ever think," Maya asked, "when you fired that warning shot, that it would lead to all this?" Alex shook his head. "I just knew we couldn't let them push us around." Across the galaxy, Earth became known by a new title: the world that said no. The simple declaration that had started with a warning shot had grown into a revolution that transformed galactic civilization. Humanity had found its place among the stars not through conquest, but by standing firm in defense of freedom, both their own and others. 5 years had passed since Earth's declaration changed the galaxy. Captain Olivia Hunt stood on the observation deck of New Horizons Station, watching ships from dozens of worlds dock and depart. The massive space station orbited Earth as a symbol of the new galactic order. "Quite a view, isn't it?" said Commander Alex Harlow, now gray at the temples, as he joined her. Olivia nodded. "Sometimes I still can't believe how much has changed." The coalition now includes 37 worlds. The Xarthan Empire is half its former size. Below them, Earth shone blue and green. The scars of the Great Battle had healed. Cities gleamed with new architecture that blended human design with alien influences. The planet had become a center of interstellar diplomacy and trade. "The council representatives are ready for your briefing," Alex said. "They're eager to hear about your mission to the Outer Rim." Olivia had just returned from leading an expedition beyond known space. What they had discovered would change everything again. In the station's main conference room, representatives from 20 civilizations waited. Ambassador Lisa Franklin, now head of the Galactic Council's Peace Commission, called the meeting to order. Captain Hunt's expedition has made first contact with a previously unknown civilization, Lisa announced. I'll let her explain. Olivia stepped forward. Beyond the outer rim, we encountered the Etheri. They aren't an empire or even a traditional civilization. They're a collective consciousness spanning hundreds of stars. She activated a holographic display showing graceful beings of light and energy. The Etheri have been watching our galaxy for millennia. They stayed hidden because of the Xarthan Empire's aggression. Now they wish to establish relations. The room filled with murmurs of amazement and concern. Are they a threat? Asked the Tellarite ambassador. No, Olivia replied firmly. They're peaceful explorers. They've offered to share technology that could end resource scarcity throughout the coalition. Maya Peterson, now director of Interspecies Technology Exchange, studied the technical data. This is revolutionary, she said. Their energy systems operate on principles we've never imagined. Admiral Linda Carter frowned slightly. History teaches us to be cautious with advanced civilizations bearing gifts. Which is why Earth should lead the diplomatic mission, Lisa suggested. Our approach to the galaxy, cooperation without domination, resonates with the Etheri philosophy. The meeting concluded with agreement to establish formal contact. As the representatives departed, Dr. Frank Nelson approached Olivia with concern on his face. There's something else, isn't there? He asked quietly. Something you didn't share with the group. Olivia hesitated, then nodded. The Etheri warned us about something beyond their realm, a darkness they've been monitoring. They believe our galaxy may face a threat greater than the Xarthan Empire ever was. Frank's eyes widened. Is that why they've decided to make contact now? Yes. They believe Earth's leadership, our declaration against empire building, makes us uniquely suited to help prepare the galaxy. Later that evening, Earth's core leadership team gathered privately in Alex Harlow's office on the station. Olivia laid out everything the Etheri had shared about the approaching threat. We stood against the Empire when everyone thought we would fall, Admiral Carter said thoughtfully. Perhaps we can face this new challenge too. Major Ryan Cooper, now General of Earth's Defense Forces, studied the tactical projections. We'll need to expand our training programs. Bring more worlds into our defense network. Alex gazed out at the stars. We began with a simple declaration. No Empire ships allowed. Now we're preparing to defend the entire galaxy. Maya smiled. That's the human way, isn't it? Standing up for what's right, even when it seems impossible. As night fell over Earth below them, they continued planning. The world that had first said no to an empire was preparing to face an even greater challenge. But this time, humanity wouldn't stand alone. The declaration that had begun as an act of defiance had become a beacon of hope across the stars. Earth's greatest adventure was just beginning.